Tornado flew around my room before you came. Excuse the mess I made. It usually doesn't rain in Southern California, much like Arizona. My eyes don't shed tears will probably fall when I'm thinking about you. You know.
Hi guys, welcome to another video on May in Bloom. We are speaking together in the foothills of a valley in Slovenia, a bit out of Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. It's been raining, it's been beautiful, it's been everything. I was really excited about exploring this country, but the rain, oh my god. But I also understand it because I think a great portion, I think it's more than 60% of Slovenia is literally forest. It's so beautiful, it's so gorgeous here, it's so green, but then you also realize what's up with all the rain. Like, you need rain to sustain this level of lushness, so let's take advantage. It's not raining and you see the greenery. At the back we have some cows, they might graze the shore a bit. First of all, let me introduce myself again to some of you that might be new. My name is May. I am currently traveling in a caravan with my partner, and I talk about holistic living and holistic healing and just having a beautiful soft existence as best as possible. So this video is also sponsored by those sentiments, and I hope that you will enjoy having this little soul talk with me, even though I'm not seated somewhere. But it's also perfect. After work, it's nice to get back on my legs after sitting for a while, and yeah, and share something that has been on my mind since watching a video a few days ago about this black girl, her sharing about how her life is not going according to plan. She's 33, has no partner, has no job, and watching it and seeing where I am now, and also like reflecting on the places I've been in life before that I would definitely say were suckier moments in my life. Like the chapter that's not as enjoyable, the chapter you don't write into your life story, the ones that just happen to you. Ooh, the cows are coming in view. You might see them soon. Okay, so where was I? So basically she was talking about that, and it made me reflect on the moments in my life where I was exactly where she was, places that were sucky and places that you hadn't planned for, especially if you came from like a structure in life or experiences in life where it was like, as long as I do A, B, and C, I'm gonna get to the next level. Like, that's how we're taught when we grow up and go to school and indoctrinated into the system we call the norm. Basically, it's basically that you go from level to level, and each level tells you that if you do great in this level, you progress to the next level, you get rewarded and then come to the next level. But then as soon as you go out into the real world, that's not always the case, right? And so basically she was sharing about how she was there at a place of her life feeling like when she had gotten divorced and when she didn't have a job and she was looking for a job again, and she was talking about how she is managing her in-between space, or the places again that you didn't plan for. And I just wanted to share, like, just from my own experiences, and also like things I do share in my holistic sessions, which is like, you always have the agency to make wherever you are purposeful. I'll never forget, like, when I finished university, like, first I wanted to take time off, so I took a year off of just living and existing, and I was really grateful for that. But not only that, but to get the opportunity to work on my own stuff. But then when I started getting into the flow of like looking for jobs, it was like really hard out there. It was such a struggle. And I thought to myself, like, I had gone to a good enough school. I had done pretty well in school. I had a degree that was very attractive, but at the same time, it was a bit of a struggle getting work, right? And how that was the first like awakening of, oh my God, what am I when I'm not a student, when I'm not employed or like succeeding to the next, like, I didn't pass to the next level of life as we are taught is supposed to happen. Go to school, do a great job, then you'll get a great job as you progress. But then when that doesn't happen, you question, like, okay, when things don't go according to plan, where am I? How do I fit in the fabric of society when I'm not in a status that is seen as valuable, when you're in the in-between of life? Now, being 34, I am so grateful for those moments in my life, because the panic or the anxiety and the life crisis I experienced from those experiences, or those gaps in my life where things literally fell to their face and didn't work out the way I wanted them, those were also the moments where I recognized that I got time to reflect on our existence as a whole. I really always say that if my life had gone to plan, like step by step by step, I'm such a, believe it or not, a comfort seeking person that I think I could have gotten really comfortable. I could have gotten really settled in. If from university I got a really great job and started making great money, I would have followed like the trajectory that most young people in Denmark would follow. Like I would have gotten an apartment, you know, and then like being more and more tied into society in a certain way on a certain trajectory. And I think being thrown out or not fitting in lets you see society from a different perspective than you would have the luxury of doing so if you were perfectly in all phases of your life just aligned, everything I'm supposed to do I'm doing and it's great and it's going. Then you don't have that space of questioning. I know that also, of course, there are people who question once they've gotten everything and they think, I'm doing great, I've done everything, I've checked everything off, and I'm still not happy. That's like the other crisis, when you're like, I got everything, but it's not giving what it was supposed to be giving, or it's not giving what I was promised it would be giving me. So the key that I want to share is that I think we take for granted the beauty of chaos in life, in the sense that your life becomes enriched by the moments in your life that you get to step out of the norm. They also get to let you see yourself in a bigger scale, in a different way, more whole than if you're just this person, aka almost a robotic copy of everything that's expected in society, going from one thing to the other. I've always been someone who is questioning life and like trying to understand life to a certain degree, but I think having those moments where things didn't go according to plan, where relationships didn't work out, where job seeking didn't work out, or opportunities or dreams or certain things didn't work out. And also specifically, I think when it was really hard to get into the job market, a thing that I recognized and I became aware of that we didn't learn, I hope it's changing with people who go to school today, was that, and the way that they see their opportunities. We were all taught to be employees. We went to school to get degrees and hope that somebody will give us an opportunity, let us in the door, let us in the warmth, and then from there we could get like experiences, we could grow, we could expand, what have you, right? But the problem with that is that it's not always the case, obviously. And what it also let me understand that you gotta be proactive in what you want out of your life. And we're so lucky, especially in the age that we live in, that you can actually work on the experience or even create something for yourself where you're not trying to prove your worth to someone or compete with your entire class. Like Denmark, for example, is a very small country. I lived in Copenhagen when I graduated. There's a lot of highly educated people. Like the competition then is also a bit much higher, even if you do get a great degree. So that idea of we all get out at the same time and we're all like fighting for the few companies that have resources to hire people, or even things that you think are interested to work in, it's just not realistic. It's not sustainable. But I think what we need to teach with education as well. Number one, that your education, of course, is great, but don't take it just as a cost of like, that's exactly what I'm going to be. I remember also learning that in school, that be aware that what you study might not be exactly what you end up doing. And I'm like, then why would you be like, because we thought that you do this, you get that, you do that, you get this, right? Like it was very like 1 + 1 is 2, rather than sometimes 1 + 1 isn't 2. Sometimes there's a C in there, it's 1 above 6 or what have you. And it takes you on a different path in general. So I wanted to share that from a place of like, for me in that gap, I recognize, what can I do for myself if nobody's letting me in? What can I do for myself if I'm not getting the opportunities I want? How can I make this part of my life, not as if I'm waiting for something or someone or an opportunity, but purposeful for me? And I think having those experiences let me know that I can engage with my life and my opportunities and my abilities in a much more proactive way. I don't think I would have had that if I succeeded in asking for things or applying for things and just getting in that way. Because in those gaps, it's when I wrote my book, it's when I started my YouTube channel, it's when I started drawing more, it's when I started my social enterprise. I did so many things because of those gaps in between, where I was like, I want this to exist, or I want experience in this. I'm not going to wait for someone to give me an opportunity. I'm not going to beg for people to let me in. And also more than that, maybe while I'm looking for something or hoping for something in that realm, I'm still going to make this time. useful and purposeful for myself. Each time, for example, I've stopped a job, like when I'm pivoting towards the next thing or the next part of my plan towards liberation, towards my own personal liberation. But every time I'm in the between the first step or the previous step and the next step, I always say, how do I make this gap purposeful? Because maybe I can't control the next step I want. And the next step, usually like in the last few years, has been like the next job, the next level of pay I want to have, or what have you. But then I would say, like, for example, the last gap I had, I started my digital printing shop. So that was like now officially live. Previously, I started, like, for example, the book that I finished. I also progressed on 2 other books that I'm working on. Like, I made sure that no matter what I'm waiting for from that is external that I can't control, what I can control is how I make this time enjoyable, purposeful. And also, you might be poor in maybe the value of your status in society, but when you are rich in time, don't ever take that for granted. Because like the girl said in her video, what is guaranteed in life? That nothing is permanent. You not having a job is not going to be permanent if that's where you are. You not having a partner is not going to be permanent if that's where you are. You not knowing where you want to be next in life is not going to be permanent if that's where you are. But what you can do is, while I'm here, what abundance am I not noticing or appreciating because I'm so focused on the lack of the thing that I think should be here. So for example, when I recognize, okay, I'm not getting the jobs I want, but wait a minute, maybe I'm not like money rich. I'm not maybe like in a great status in life, if you care about that, which we are all taught to care about. But then I was like, I'm freaking time rich. I have so much time. And I was like, I try to focus on that. What can I do? Because I know this is not a permanent moment. How do I make it a blessing instead of a curse? How do I make it, again, purposeful? So I would work on myself. I would create routines. I would like recover from maybe burnout or like the pre signs of burnout, being a highly sensitive person in a world that I think sometimes is a bit too much. Hence why even when I'm traveling, I really love like being more in nature, slower spaces. But I find life in general and the expectations and the pace a bit overwhelming. So like in those in-between gaps, I'd work more on the intentions I had for my life, the intentions I have for my dreams. I'd work more, on my dreams in general, like on my bigger dreams, on the things I want to finally one day be the things that mainly sustain me, or like have a greater portion of what sustains me. And once you learn that every moment I'm in always has an abundance of something that is beneficial to me, you can't feel that same sense of helplessness, that same sense of I'm in a waiting room waiting for life to happen to me. This is something I always share also in my holistic sessions with the people I work with. Never make it seem like you are waiting for life to happen to you. Life is a dance and you are the other part of the equation. You have to be engaged. A lot of opportunities came to me because of what I did in the gaps that I had in life, because of what I did in the moments where I was being rejected, or as I like to say, and I've learned to say, redirected in life. And because I was aware of those things, and because I know that now to be more embedded in the way I see life, in the way that I progress in things, in the way that I move through things, it also makes those unknown phases feel less scary, because I always have this feeling I'm always gonna, if I am not abundant in a job or maybe like income stability, I'm going to be more abundant in other things that are also valuable to me. Of course, I'm saying also this from a place of certain privilege, because I live in a place, or I live in a way where I don't have a lot of things that require me maybe to have a lot of money, and I'm in fairly good health, and most of the things I have at the core base are pretty stable. So that can look different for you, but even in any circumstances you might be, only you know how you can turn that into something that is purposeful, how you can turn that into something that's rewarding, how you turn the in-between of your lives, between where you are and where you want to be, not to just be hollow gaps, but purposeful spaces and pauses that are going to nourish you, that are going to, if at the very least, the only thing you have the ability to do in that moment is work on yourself, your mental health. And that's all you got out of that experience, all those 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 1 year of being, for example, unemployed, or before you got it accepted into your dream school, whatever it might be, or before you met the love of your life, like making sure that I'm going to work on myself, I'm going to study, I'm going to improve who I am, I'm going to improve my vision of my dream life, and I'm going to work towards that. you always have the agency to change that and impact that. And I invite you to take those opportunities when they come to you as opportunities, not misfortune. Because we have that power to do that. And when I learned that, and I learned that not from like, it just went from day one to two, I'm like, oh, this is great. I went through the whole full cycle of like despair, anxiety, feeling unworthy, feeling not good enough, feeling depressed, and then being like, okay, now what we're going to do about it? Because all of this cycle, this is not fun. It's necessary. It's important to go through. But what am I going to do about it? And when I recognize I can always do something about where I am, nobody can take that away from you. You can always make where you are purposeful. You can always alchemize the situations you are in, the cards you are dealt, the places you are in life. It doesn't mean that everything is always perfect, always amazing. And it doesn't mean you don't go through that experience of the emotions that are healthy and important, but don't get stuck there, because on the other side, you can write a new story. You can write a new chapter that is purposeful. You can decide that this is something that's happening for me, not to me. And I have a say in how I experience this and how I document this and what this part of my life is going to mean for me. I just wanted to share that with you, and that's it. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much again for all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying this little community, this slow and steady community, and I will see you in my next video. Otherwise, do take care. I hope you're blooming wherever life has planned for you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!